Hey YouTube, Big Star 1000 again. Gimme 10 with an Australian post-punk edition, just because I can. And I could make several videos of Aussie post-punk. I mean, obviously, I'm a resident of Australia, and I love the scene, and I got very interested for a while on the subject of Australian post-punk, and there's a lot of really amazing stuff. And you can get compilations to get you started. In the background, I'm playing a compilation called Tales from the Australian Underground, which is really fantastic primer. There's 2 volumes, and also I would recommend this too. This is great, Lethal Weapons, which has got a lot of really cool acts from the time, Boys Next Door, which I'll discuss in a second, and teenage radio stars and survivors on white label. This is a first press of that comp from 1983. Yeah, 1983. Lethal Weapons, but I'm not. This is not an inclusion. It's just showing you a bit of a primer. So I'll start with a single. One of my favourite singles of the post-punk era in Australia is this jewel from Kim Salmon, Lightning Scary. This is on Red Eye Records. Kim Salmon was in a band called The Scientists. He's from Perth, Western Australia. This is a bit of coloured action there. This is a really disjointed, sort of crazy song, lots of weird effects. You can check it out online. Lightning Scary by Mr. Kim Salmon. Superb song, superb single. That's just wanted to open with this because I really love this song. It's infectious. And I was talking about the Boys Next Door, and I have to talk about the Boys Next Door because it's kind of the Nick Cave birthday party entry to this list of 10. I have no Nick Cave and no birthday party records there, but I have the Boys Next Door, which is the very first thing that Nick Cave did. This is an amazing record, people, really fabulous. I think this is on Coloured Wax, and since the Coloured Wax to start with, I may as well indulge people. Mushroom, coloured in pink, which is kind of marbled as well, which is very cool. Very post-punk of them. Not an original, a repress, but just cool record shop. Originals of these, even in Australia, cost a lot of money. My words. I've tried to get one, but it was just really, really, really expensive. Yeah, the Boys Next Door were Nick Cave's first band. Nick Cave obviously went to bigger and better things. And another great band from the punk days were the Saints, and the Saints obviously broke up. Ed Cooper went on to form another band, which to me is crucial to the whole scene. It's the Laughing Clowns. This is History of Rock and Roll Volume 1. It's kind of a compilation of sorts. This is an amazing little record. Not easy to find these days either. Now I do think that this is also a Stone Cold OG. This is great, sort of horn-driven post-punk. Ed Cooper was a genius in my opinion. His solo albums are really worth getting to. And moving on to something slightly different, some electronic, driven, fully electronic post-punk band called the Severed Heads. Really worth in, getting into. Really, like, well, I was talking about Cabaret Voltaire in an installment of UK post punk. Yeah, that sort of, heavily electronic, or maybe the Human League or something like that, early Human League, and you get the sort of the idea, or even, you could almost liken it to New Order or things like that, but it's more electronic, I think, in a sense, more Gary Newman-ish, but more, I think, edgier than that. Severed Heads. And they're from Sydney, I think, Severed Heads. And Great Reward is a great song to check out there. Great song. Now he's a super obscure band from Melbourne, but I wanted to showcase it. It's just cool. Kind of nutty, sort of post-punky with a psych edge is the Shower Scene from Psycho. The greatest band name ever, the Shower Scene from Psycho. This is Exploding Hits. They're not hits. Very weird cover version of some song like Purple Haze, but just a bit like the Flying Lizards, but sort of the Australian take on the Flying Lizards. These guys are just unbelievable. They're just it's a very cool record. To get this is very difficult these days, but I love this little piece of Melbourne. I know if you're a YouTube user from Melbourne, you might see this in the shops sometime. A classic sort of, I mean, in a sense, sounds a lot like early Talking Heads, but with an Australian twang to it, very industrial sounding as well. He's the very first Hunters and Collectors. This record is a masterpiece. It's an amazing record. It does look industrial from the cover. It is kind of very industrial sounding, but it's got this kind of sort of jivey, Talking Headsy kind of. Mark Seymour, the leader of the Hunters and Collectors. The Hunters and Collectors went on to more poppy kind of records, which I don't really like very much. But this record is a beautiful record. The next two records were produced by Conny Plank in Germany. I mean, yes, the next two records were produced by Conny Plank. I mean, if you know who Conny Plank is, you what? This is true. A little known band which I absolutely love, very jerky kind of. I should compare it to someone, but it doesn't come to me now. Maybe a bit wiry, maybe is the Sacred Cowboys. This is a mini LP, and there's a wonderful, there's a really great track called Nothing Grows in Texas, which, if you want to check something, it's just an amazing track. Sacred Cowboys. It's something that turns up here and there in Melbourne. Another couple of records. Again, one of my all-time favorite, and this one is more. It's more like a sort of a Velvet Underground style kind of. I don't know, the Sonny Boys, very power pop infused, they've got this power pop edge. Fantastic records, just amazing. One of my favorite Australian records ever. Just a great piece of music. The Sonny Boys debut records. Not easy to find anymore, but there was a time. This is more like a punk record than a post-punk, but I felt like including it. It's The Numbers from Sydney, which are like pretty much the Australian Blondie. Amazing, it's like really fast-paced, sort of punky, punk pop with a post-punk edge to it. The Numbers. And finally, a record that really is not a real post-punk record. It's just a record that I love. I wanted to include it. It's just such a fun piece of music. It is the debut record by the Hoodoo Gurus, Stone Age Romeos. This record is just so much fun. It's packing all the Nuggets style psych into a sort of new wavy kind of pack. It's just amazing. It's an amazing piece of music. If people are interested in getting copies of these, they want a copy of this, you can get this. And you need to listen to I Want You Back and Let's All Turn On. Amazing. Anyway, Australian post-punk in 10 minutes.